Welcome back, everybody, to the International Wildcard All-Star, where we have 2 best-of-5s yet to come here today, and also a bunch of 1 versus 1. So a lot of action, but right now we're going to focus in on Turkey as they take on Japan. And Turkey, well, a lot better today than they were yesterday, and 2 comeback wins, though, meaning that they still have a lot to clean up in the early game.
Yeah, they certainly do. And, you know, both games that Turkey won, they fell behind pretty substantially, and a lot of the pressure fell to Nauru to be able to rescue a late game. And I think that with, I guess, even going into a mage like Seros, that's going to be a harder ask this time around because Japan plays a very controlled style. So look for Turkey to really put a lot of pressure on Crystal once again to clean up his early game and get everyone else rolling.
And Dumbledore, if he gets his hands on Bard once again, he has played Morgana once, Bard 2 games in a row. I do think his ultimates with those Tempered Fates have been very game-changing, and it has allowed Turkey to find those team fights that bring them back into the game. So I think there are a few threats that Japan need to think about, and I'm very interested to see where they prioritize their picks and ban strategy.
I honestly think Bard is pick or ban at this stage, like 100% first pick or ban. Based off the performances so far of every single Bard in this tournament and how disconnected teams seem to feel around the mid-game, Bard can make plays so very easily that he should be addressed as a top priority.
That will be very interesting to see when you talk about mid and the late game. Someone who's been very important for the early game today for Japan has been their jungler, Rainbrain. Honestly, a day and a night difference coming into this day.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, you compare his Gragas yesterday to the Mundo. The Mundo was still good, but, I mean, that's just press R and run around in circles. Today on the Rex side, a really, really good performance, showing an ability to react to the map, react to his opponents, and impact it in positive ways. He was farming effectively, he was ganking effectively, and it allowed Seros to have the freedom to pick up wins. Yesterday it was all about Seros and only Seros, and today the rest of the team stepping up too.
So the biggest thing with that for me is that he spends all of the time reacting effectively, but in games where he needs to be proactive, the team doesn't win. They really do struggle if he can't make the plays, and he's required to make the plays. You've got Seros who plays champions like Gangplank and Zilean. You can poke people down, and you can stop them from ending the game. But when you're being a Gragas and you have to go in, he hesitates one too many times, and it can be costly.
Yeah, but the thing is here is that we keep saying this, is that the pressure's on Turkey to have the good early game. So he can play in the exact same favor. You know, maybe they do go away from Zilean a little bit. His late game isn't bad, but it relies a lot on the AD carry. Keep going back to things like Gangplank if it's open. Cassiopeia look fantastic. The late game scaling is definitely there for that champion. And Seros can just massage them through the later stages of the game.
We'll see if that happens. What you also mentioned about the game versus SCA, that they won Japan, which would have been a very hard game, was that was so incredibly clean. And that is one of the things that we have not seen out of a lot of the regions competing here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I want to credit 2 players for that. It's Moeki and Seros, because their target selection is really good in these games. So when other teams are like chasing down Summoner's Rift and like having these really scrappy team fights, those 2 players in particular for me have been the standouts of being able to commit to the right fights. And once again, a lot of credit to a substitute AD carry coming in for being able to do that in a lot of pressure situations.
Yeah, definitely have to highlight Moeki above all else. Seros, we have seen him perform in the past, so we do know he's the best, but I've never seen someone come in as, let's call him a sub. He's still definitely an all-star, into a roster where he's defined as definitely mechanically intensive, but his decision-making above all else, and the mechanics to boot, are definitely on point.
It's quite funny because for both of these teams, they center around sort of the bottom half of the map, from the mid to the duo. And we don't see a whole lot from both Evi from the LJL and Tholdren from the Turkish squad in terms of carrying games here at IWCA. So whichever one of those also gets a better start and gets some help from either Crystal or from Rainbrain in the jungle, that can also be a determining factor, because in the win against Southeast Asia earlier today, LJL, they had Evi on that Jax. He had a very good performance. He got that Rage Blade up and running, and it did a lot of work. So my eyes are on him and which champion he plays too.
And in similar vein, Tholdren also was pretty crucial in the Turkish game. His decision-making was really good. He's a fantastic late-game engager for his team. You know, famous for his Rumble, also plays a really good Mel fight. So if he can continue to call the right team fights out for Turkey, we talk about him as being the captain for his team back home, Besiktas, that would mean very good things the later the game goes.
Yeah, growing throughout the tournament. I do want to come back to the bottom lane a little bit because we're praising Moeki, and rightfully so. I think good positioning to play. 3 Lucians, though. 3 Lucian games, and we know that Holy Phoenix on the other side have showed a couple of different things. Maybe with not enough practice, he wouldn't go to another AD carry Moeki if he's put in that position. But is it a viable strategy for Turkey to ban that out? if in their strategy versus this team, rather.
I'm just going to blanket say no to it because what we're seeing from him is what is working. He doesn't have to play other things or show his hand because the Lucian is so effective. And Lucian as a champion is just ridiculous at the moment. He has a very good pocket Jinx. He is super good on that champion. He can play the Vayne as well to a very high level. At this stage, unless they actually address Lucian as an issue, he doesn't need to play these other things.
And I would also say on the topic of the Vayne, in the practice games that they did with the other LJL, players across the map, they're like #2 vote for All-Star. He also pulled out the Vayne and had a very, very good performance, really showing an understanding of the itemization as well. The static shiv into rapid fire cannon without even a BF sword, which is what we're seeing trend here at IWCA. So there are other champions for him to play. I actually don't think it's a terrible idea if they want to try to get him out of his comfort zone. But I don't know if it's going to be banning, maybe taking the champion away, picking it, force him into something he hasn't played yet on the stage, and maybe that could help.
Yeah, on top of that, that sounds very, very promising for Japan if they have another couple of 80 carries that they can throw in the mix as well. We'll see what they can do versus Turkey because the players are ready.
Thank you very much, Sharks. I'm, of course, Atlas, joined by Stress once again for our next 5v5 battle. Of course, Japan trying to pick up another couple of wins, and this is a team that we weren't necessarily looking at as being one of the favorites. They're 2-1. They're doing fantastically.
They are. They're actually one of my favorite teams to watch this week.
Oh man,
so
Seros,
far, actually.
the circle skill shots, man. He does so much work.
He does. I'm hoping we can see him branch out from just geometry-based
skill
champions.
shots,
But
who knows?
I'll be honest, I'm just enjoying watching them play because weren't sure what to expect in the first game that they played here, but they came out firing on all cylinders and have looked so much better over the last 2 games. And honestly, I feel like they are potentially a top 3 or 4 team here.
Yeah, and it's been largely to do with that draft as well. As we are into Champions Select, that segue was unbelievable. Zilean is going to be the first one banned away. No surprises from Turkey, and Elise is going to hit the bench as well. Of course, Rainbrain hasn't been finding success on that champion, but he has been dealing with it. I find it interesting that they ban it away instead of just going for a similar strategy.
Yeah, will it be a Gangplank that follows up? No, it's going to be Jax because Evie went ham earlier on Jax. Just absolutely just took SEA apart. When you look at the Tamkench Jax matchup in the top lane, oh, that was disgusting to watch.
Yeah, Archie did not have a great time. That being said, I have a feeling that Tamkench may not be picked for the top lane ever again in this tournament.
Someone somewhere will. Don't worry, Max. And it'll probably get Yamato through to the LCS playoffs
that
again,
is true.
just like last time.
That is true. Well, Kindred is going to be banned as well. Crystal has had some success on the champion. Haven't seen it win just yet for Turkey, but Dr. Mundo surprisingly banned on the blue side. I could imagine that you'd want to pick that one up if you can, but Turkey don't want to see it. Japan will see what the final ban is going to be.
And that's a bit of an adaptation because earlier on the blue side, in fact, sorry, the other way around, Japan were the ones to ban out, didn't ban out Mundo on the blue side, so they were looking to pick it. So very strange. I mean, it tells you that Turkey don't want to pick Mundo right now because they know Japan will pick it up on the first rotation. I mean, that's a given. So what do they want in response? It's not going to be Elise. Do they look for something like a Rek'Sai?
I think the Rek'Sai could be a very good idea.
One of the remaining junglers. They've also got the option for like the likes of a Kindred right now.
Nope, they don't.
Sorry, Callista, the other one that begins with a K.
That was true.
It was close. It was close. You keep me in check, Max. I'm pretty happy with that.
That is true, but they are taking their time working this one out. Oftentimes you'll see that the first pick, fairly obvious one, but they waste no time locking it in. The Lucian is going to be grabbed immediately. Of course, slight pick away from Mweki there. Polyphoenix has played it to fairly decent effect as well. Now the LJL squad, we'll see what they decide to go with. A couple more options, of course. The Soraka is available.
It is.
Stress. We could see it.
Are we finally going to see it? I kind of hope not, but that remains to be seen. Turkey earlier, first pick Lucian as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I can honestly agree with the prominence of Lucian right now, but now it's a Lucian-Callista matchup potentially in this bottom lane, unless the LJL team have something to show us. Probably not going to pick their AD carry right now. May look for one of their, support picks that are available. Dara with that Thresh. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I'm looking back in time at these picks, though. You've got Lucian locked in first, and then Thresh Lee Sin. What is it, a year ago?
I mean, it does feel like a little bit of an old one, but these are still very much so current champions.
They are definitely current now. It's just strange. I feel like I have some deja vu.
Deja vu, in effect. What this does scream is pick, though, out of the LJL team. Thresh and Lucian means mid-game pick compositions. I mean, that's just everything that they're going to look for right now. I wonder whether we'll see the same coming out from Cirrus in the middle lane. Gangplank would be available for him, but I don't think that really quite fits with what they're trying to do here.
That's a good point. I mean, Saros, of course, does seem to default back to the Gangplank, so Naru could even pick it up now for that pick away.
Dumbledoge's Bard is still up as well.
That's a
and
good
available,
point.
and that is a good
Morgana
way.
as well. I mean, of course, has always been a phenomenal Morgana player.
Both are very good at kind of stopping pick as well. You just throw the Black Shield on somebody, throw down the Tempered Fate, prevent any kind of pick-off. So it is going to be the Morgana. So with the option of having Bard available, that one is taken away. The Rek'Sai will finally get picked up by the TCL team. That was kind of what we were expecting to come out from that. So the jungle matchup right there. A lot of early game presence, but I don't think that Rainbrain is going to let Crystal just farm his jungle up like we saw out of the Rek'Sai in the last game. I think there's going to be so much more interaction in the early game.
But, of course, the Morgana picked can work out very well in the lane as well against the Thresh if you manage to get the Black Shield on the right target. But Mweki opting in for that sort of lane counter pick in the Vayne. I know it's been said a lot. I find it interesting because, you know, Lucian isn't just a Q. He's also, like, the Piercing Light isn't all he's got in his kit, so being able to dodge that doesn't change the whole thing. And Vayne doesn't necessarily have the best early game.
He's got the double tap as well.
That is.
Ooh, I don't really want to see a Sivir.
We haven't seen one yet. I do.
So it was actually played earlier today in China. There was a Sivir played.
Oh, that's true. I was going to say, not here.
And the other thing about this is Sivir will help with the ability to pick with the Thresh, with the Lee Sin, will be able to you know, speed them up. And I guess if the whole game plan is look for pick, you know, just pick somebody off as quickly as you can and keep moving forward, then Sivir is a good choice. She has wave clear, has a lot of things to offer in this kind of composition, but as you said, the first time we're going to see Sivir here at the International Wildcard All-Stars, so it is going to be one that we're going to have to watch.
Yeah, I actually haven't thought about Sivir on the new patch either, and I feel like Essence Reaver fits Sivir really, really well. She loves going through a mana pool as much as she possibly can, and having the sort of on-crit mana back could be very, very useful. Plus, having the extra cooldown reduction means you're throwing out boomerangs, you're ricocheting all over the place, and you have that ever-necessary ultimate at your disposal at all times.
I mean, she's also going to stack Fervor of Battle incredibly quickly.
Yeah, pretty fast.
Probably one of the best AD carries for stacking that up without items. I mean, until you get a Hurricane on other champions, it's kind of difficult. Caitlyn's pretty good at it. But
oh, man.
I mean,
Hurricane Sivir. That would be so much AoE damage stress.
Overkill wave clear, I think,
yeah,
is the term there. But speaking of overkill wave clear, Victor is in this game. That's one way of just completely neutralizing any lane in front of you. So it is a good spot here for Naru in that middle lane. We've seen him go pretty ham on that as well. I believe it was in the game earlier against Latin America where Naru just blew people up the entire game long on Victor.
He did. It was terrifying to watch, and we'll see whether he can have a repeat performance. Zeros, though, has picked up the Rise. Might be going to Evie in the top lane. We'll see what Dara decides to do. Only 15 seconds to go now on the clock, though. They have to make up their mind. Now having an intense discussion. It doesn't look like they're too worried. But if you're going to pick a Vladimir, you probably should have a think about it first.
I mean, it's Vlad into Malphite. I mean, Malphite, what's he going to do? Both champions are just going to stand there and farm for like 40 minutes. And Malphite is suddenly going to just not be able to stand in front of Vlad the later the game goes. Interested that that was the route they picked, considering everything else was going towards mid-game and, you know, pick composition. To now pick somebody who wants to sit in the side lane and scale, will have a little bit of presence in team fights when he can get there, when he can get that Hemo Plague down, but a bit of a departure from what they were going for. I'm actually a little surprised they didn't just go full old school and pick something like a Maokai, which can just, it's a run at you comp. It's a Sivir comp, boys.
Plus he does work very well with the new Masteries.
Yeah, and you know against a Malphite, you're fine. Like, it's another matchup where absolutely nothing happens, but we haven't seen that much Maokai since 522
I haven't seen him at all, actually.
I mean, Yamato's talking about Grasp of the Undying Maokai and how every 4 seconds in combat plus the additional sustain that comes from the passive could be good.
Yeah.
So,
in theory, all sorts of things are good though, Stress. We don't know whether it actually will be.
That is quite true.
Of course, we've been doing a lot of Ultimate Bravery-esque things, and stuff tends to look okay on paper, but not quite work out. But look, we'll see whether Maokai does ever get picked up. But at the moment, it's going to be the Vladimir into the Malphite. And one thing I really like about that is it means that they're running double AP, and it means that Tholdren has to build MR at some point. He can't just stack that armor and have 5 armor items and never be touched by the Sivir in the late game.
Sure, and honestly, there was another couple of other options of AP that could have come up. Could have looked for a Rumble, perhaps, from that top lane.
Yeah.
That would have given them more mid-game, but I don't think Vlad's a particularly big problem. I'm looking forward to seeing how much room he'll get in this game.
That's a very good point, but we are on to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. IWCA Margaret Court Arena in Melbourne. Dumbledore, as you can see, we're following him out of the base. See whether we'll have any shenanigans early on. Looks like it's just going to be the classic 5-point defense system.
Oh, yeah. We've gone back in time with champions. We're going back in time with starting the game as well. Everybody just spreads out and nobody does anything.
Yep.
I
Get
guess,
away from me.
I guess there aren't too many different ways that you can actually open a game. You
Especially now when there's not as much time, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you got to get to lane, man. It's 15 seconds. I wonder how many lives or years of a life have been saved on that. I was going to say how many lives have been saved in that 15 seconds.
I swear I
think
read
that's a
something
minor change.
that now, you know, based on the fact that things have started earlier, that we've earned back a whole lot of our time. But I don't know. I don't quite remember.
I think that might have been Esports Express.
No, no,
I think it was a bit of an
definitely wasn't. I
exaggeration
haven't
on
been
that
that trolled. Oh, wait, maybe it was. I don't even know.
But at this point, you know, it didn't adjust too much on the way
No,
of.
it was a few
of
seconds,
starts.
guys. Let's
it's
just
nice,
calm
though.
down.
I like the tweak. It means I'm standing in mid lane less. Because, you know, I'm not one of those people that goes up and
I don't know. I
and
like
helps.
standing in mid lane. It means I'm not dead yet.
That is true. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
It's a nice, safe feeling.
You gotta pick your wins, I guess. But we are going to start on the Gromp over here. Moeki helping out with Dara. Oh, almost went in for the last auto attack. Steal that one away. Crystal, though, is going to finish off these Krogs and head towards the red buff. So sort of mirrored starts here for the junglers. And we'll see how things go as we enter the lane. Now, my eyes are on Seros here, is whether he can navigate this lane against Naru, who's shown so much prowess on this Victor. Of course, control mages has always been Naru's thing. Interestingly enough, both him and Seros play a fair bit of the old Cassiopeia. Haven't seen it from him just yet, though, but his Victor is very scary.
Yeah, we did see one Cassiopeia earlier from Seros, as you were alluding to, and again, another champion where Seros has just shown up massively on. In that game, it was Seros and Evie who just scaled so incredibly well. Level 2 did get hit in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Dark Binding comes out, but both of the teams now have the level 2. Holy Phoenix taken down to about 120 health. Dumbledoge as well, now trying to juggle some aggro. Turns it around, Dark Binding goes wide though, and this means that, yeah, the Turkish team have to back away.
A little bit of miscommunication, I feel, but between Holy Phoenix and Dumbledoge. They were kind of ready to engage, didn't quite read the level 2 correctly out of Moeki and Dara, and Holy Phoenix stepped outside of the minion wave, and just the lantern, the hook, the lantern didn't hit anybody. The hook hits, they managed to get a lot of damage down, and now it's Seros that's in trouble in the middle lane. He's pushing up forward as well. Naru is going to probably take control here.
And Crystal trying to find his way around here. The knockup does come through. Seros uses the flash. That is a big deal. Q lands, though, as Rainbrain finds his way in. Crystal is going to try and stand in front, soak up the aggro. Everyone's going to survive, but that is a much-needed flash from the Rise, already taken.
Yeah, this game, however, Evie and Seros are going to look to scale up pretty well. It could be a similar story to the game against SEA, where Turkey look to make an impact in the early game and don't quite get enough of a lead to actually snowball the game through. So I'm wondering whether the LGL team can create enough picks in the mid game to hold on and let this Vlad, let this Rise get to a couple of items and actually start to contend in team fights, because they just have to manage the Malphite and the Victor, which is easier said than done.
That is most definitely true. But Vladimir, of course, we haven't seen him for quite some time, but we're talking about scaling. Dude scales pretty well, and one thing I absolutely love and always have is AoE comps built around Hemoplague. And if you've got Ricochet, you've got Boomerang Blade, as well as Seros on this Rise, that we know what Rise can do in an AoE situation, and I actually feel bad talking about it because it's disgusting. We'll see whether they can actually coordinate that, but we've said the word coordinate quite a few times. And Seros, once again, going to get caught up. The gravity field goes down as well as Safeguard for the save from Rainbrain. This guy has turned it on today. The teleport comes in. Evie with all of that CC available to him. Oh, Dara not going to find it there as Dumbledore finds his way in. Rainbrain going to get caught out. Is it going to be the first kill? No, he's not dead just yet. Naru, with the last couple of auto attacks, is going to be able to pick that one up. Holy Phoenix now in a bunch of trouble as Mweki makes his way around. Now has a blue buff, but a double kill for the Sivir. That will answer the extra pressure given in the mid lane. The double kill now for the AD carry.
This game just got blown wide open, and it's all from the attempted catches in middle lane right now. The roam up from Dara was great. He took the 50-50 attempt at looking for the hook. Didn't find the hook, but it was Mweki that found the kills in that little exchange. 2 kills onto Sivir now. Looking to see exactly what he picks up when he does decide to go back on this Sivir. As we said, I haven't seen too much Sivir right now, and there has been a lot of itemization changes. So I thought it was going to be a really bad teleport from Heavy. I thought that's what it was going to be. Luckily, Dara was there to save it, because Vlad can't really do too much without some hard crowd control to lock people down.
Yeah, I did try to allude to that. But Heavy now without the teleport doesn't exactly have anything else either. I believe didn't even go back to base. Just wandered back top. No worries.
He's not got time to buy. He just wants to get back there. I don't know how much blood you can pull from the stone. I mean, it is one of those, you know, colloquial term, well, you know, sayings, idioms.
Idioms?
Yeah.
I love the word idiom.
I love the word idioms. It took me like 3 attempts to get there, but I finally found the word.
You know, but it was worth the wait, you know?
I don't think it was.
If you're going to bring out a sweet word, you got to make us work for it. Well, Evie is going to go back to base, grab that revolver as well as a pink ward. In fact, 4 pink wards in the inventories of the LJL. My goodness, that is some good player action right there. I didn't know quite what I was trying to say. I'm just saying it's good.
Max, I'm just gonna. This is what I get for making fun of you when you're English earlier. It's now both of us have forgotten.
Just have no idea how to speak the
talk.
language at all.
Oh,
just do a
dear.
different language cast, man. I don't speak any other languages.
My German's not that good. I've not been in Berlin.
Descen's going to find Holy Phoenix, though. Somehow dodges out of the way of the Boomerang Blade in between it, which was ludicrous. But it is going to be fine in the end. Nicely played by the LGL team, though.
Dara's thresh is on point. I'm just going to say that. I mean, apart from the hook he missed. But he has been very good in this early game of actually catching Holy Phoenix a lot more than I feel like he should be able to. Holy Phoenix should right now just be able to stand in his minions and never really get hit. Problem with that is minions are dying pretty quickly against a Sivir with a BF sword to start this game off. Those 2 kills may ripple effect throughout this game. If Mweki can always stay ahead of the curve, he will, however, later run into trouble against this Malphite. Holy Phoenix going aggressive, though.
Yeah, Boomerang comes down. But Pink Ward is going to be removed here by Crystal, so his location is at least known. Rainbow making his way around as well, but you can see this mini wave is pushed up very, very far. Not a whole lot that the Turkish side can do about that one. Heading back to the mid lane here, you can see it's still a big lead for Naru. But Seros is farming just fine. You have to think that the scaling advantage probably in his favor.
Yes. Well, there's so much scaling in this game right now that I'm kind of wondering. The next kind of 10 or so minutes will really allow us to see exactly whether it's going to be Evie and Cirrus that are going to take over on the scaling game, or whether Naru is going to be able to get a couple more kills under his belt, stay alive in this one. I mean, Victor, you always have to take into account how much damage he's going to do in the late game. So even though Cirrus and Evie should be able to hang on, there is still going to be that presence coming from Naru.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I remember having a conversation with Spawn about it. I'm like, so Spawn, when is Victor strong in the game as far as states of the game are concerned? He's like, all the time.
I was gonna say, was his response all the time?
All the time.
I feel like
it's like, when's he gonna hit the power spike? Well, always.
He just is a spike. I mean, he's just sharpened that hex core.
Evie's doing his very best to kill himself here in the top lane. That Tides of Blood was far too satisfying. In comes Rainbrain, the box goes down. They're trying to get something, but Rainbrain tanking up the turret for quite some time. Man, he's very good at almost surviving, but didn't so that time. Teleport's coming hit through from both sides. Doldrin does have the ultimate available. Mweki doesn't even need it, though. He's going to get taken out by that Light Slinger passive. Dara just saying, oh dear, I am so dead. Triple Flay comes down, but over jukes himself, and that's going to be Holy Phoenix with the double. Things looking a whole lot better for Turkey now.
Big misplay out of the LJL team. Even the Malfault was held by Thaldrin. Just that the Lantern in, I'm not exactly sure what the LJL team were looking for there. Going under a turret against like a Lucian, a Morgana. Yeah. It seems suicidal at that point. The TCL team come up huge from that set of plays, and they held the Malphite ult. That's going to be so key in the next couple of fights.
Going to be very, very scary to deal with. But Turkey looking like they're definitely not ready to concede this one. Of course, they have to do battle for turkeys everywhere, considering the time of year. There's not many that are doing all that well at the moment. Seros, though, is going to continue farming this one out. I'm just going to let that one go, Stress.
I'm just going to let that one go as well.
Oh, dear. Naru makes his way back to lane, though. 84 CS to 78, so Seros doing a decent job. He's going to soon have that Catalyst getting towards the Rod of Ages as quickly as he can. Of course, already stacking that tier. And Holy Phoenix, look at that tasty minion wave. Going to be able to pick up all of that farm. Only behind by about 15, but now with the 2 extra kills, BF sword in the back pocket. Doing a whole lot better. And Weki looks like he's going for the Infinity Edge first.
Looks like it for now. We will see what his second item is going to be. Looks like it's going, as you said, pretty much Infinity Edge. I guess into pretty much a standard build that we would have seen previous to 5.22. Now is this game, once this tower goes down, the game is going to open up. That's when they can start utilizing the Thresh, the Lee Sin a little bit more and a little more safely. Because diving under towers is not exactly what you want to do right there. Not without good vision control.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have the read on Crystal being around, so it was a very dangerous set of plays. And without the ability to do that safely, I honestly don't want to see the LJL team do that. And one of the biggest problems with playing a pick composition, and this is a problem that the Millennium team that used to play in the European LCS ran into. Yeah, they were very good at pick compositions, but as soon as you fall behind, if you fall so far behind that one pick is not enough to win you a fight and take the game from there, then pick comps aren't great. You kind of just flounder around, get one kill, and you kind of recuperate a little bit of the deficit that you've got.
Yeah, it takes a lot more time to get yourself back in that position. But at the moment, Turkish squad are up by, what, 200 gold? Absolutely nothing in it here at this 12-minute mark. The gold, as you can see. Rainbrain looking to try and grab Holy Phoenix is going to do so. Dark Passage is going to be there, and Rainbrain, that was basically the solo stolen away by Mweki. What a jerk. As Naru's going to be able to take down this mid lane turret, or at least do his very best to. Thaldrin's still waiting in the wings. Dumbledore is there as well. Dark Binding does fly by. 4 members of the Turkish team now congregating here in mid. Seros easily making short work of that minion wave as Evie makes his way around. Emu playing onto a couple of members there, but is just going to be a bit of a love tap for now.
It's enough to hold the tower for now, and that exactly is the kind of play that LJL need to do, is they need to make those solitary picks before this game gets too far away from them, and it is going to help them maintain a very slight lead. Holding that mid tower as well will keep the gold in their favor, and actually scare Holy Phoenix from the next time he tries to push up to take the tower down like that. If he hasn't got enough vision in the river and the vision behind him, there's going to be that teleport. There could be somebody coming from the river, and he could be in trouble, but I don't think it's going to happen to him again anytime soon.
Well, of course, in the meantime there, Heavy was able to take down the top outer turret, has given the LGL squad a lot of room to move in this top side of the map. And they're going to utilize that by taking down the Rift Herald, give it over to Rainbrain. He's then going to empowered recall back home and probably look to push a wave somewhere. Seros just grabbing all of the farm he can, completely even right now. And I believe we'll be able to pick up that Rod of Ages here at 13.5 minutes. And with the tier, with the boots as well, it's a pretty good clip.
Is pretty good. Crystal's around in the bottom side, so this time helping out Holy Phoenix, who pushes up. Ooh, nearly gets caught by a hook once again, but it is a safe situation for Turkey right now. They will have spotted out Lee Sin on the Tremor Sense, so know exactly where he is, can establish a little bit of control in the jungle, and the LJL team smartly backing away from this tower. It was already so low from Holy Phoenix pushing up earlier that will now open up that bottom side for the Dragon, which is up in 1 minute 40. So,
Seros unable to take the blue buff. Crystal grabs that one away. That's a big deal for the Rise, who wants to continue stacking up that tier as much as possible, spamming out those spells. Naru possibly could get some work done here in the mid lane. Only a couple more auto attacks from him, and he'll be able to grab that one. So another turret falls, and the map is slowly getting darker and darker for the LJL team.
One thing right now that the LGL team have to worry about is the fact that Falcon still has his teleport and is bullying Evie away. Now Rek'Sai is coming in as well. Thaldrin's going on Evie.
Yeah, Evie in a bunch of trouble. He's going to use the pull, but I have a feeling he's just going to die.
Yeah.
That happened. Crystal picks up that kill. Wasn't a whole lot he could do.
I mean, there were two options there. You either use the Malphite to engage on the other side of the map or bring the Rek'Sai over, and smartly done out of Turkey. They will take that single kill. Again, chipping away at the LJL team. They now have 2,000 gold in the lead, so this is a good platform to be on. And as I was saying, difficult for a team that are running pick to actually come back into this. Yes, they have a major scaling portion of their team in the solo laners, and that can never really be overlooked. You have to respect that the later this game goes, but certainly for this mid game, the lights are going to start going out for the LJL team. The warding control is not going to be there, as TCL are going to look to just take away as much of the vision as they can around the bottom side jungle, around the dragon when it spawns, and look to just keep that dragon counter ticking up.
Well, Mweki hanging around here about this dragon. 4 seconds until that one spawns. You can see him yelling at everyone from inside that pit, but everyone on Turkey are moving around. They have vision now as well as Rainbrain makes his way in. Dark Binding's going to go wide, but things could definitely get messy. Holy Phoenix making his way through. They are going to be able to secure the dragon. Dark Passage not going to be taken here as Dara just goes straight in on that Death Sense. That was ridiculous. Just eliminates Dumbledoge completely. The culling just not going to be enough.
Smart adaptation from the Japanese team. They put Ryze up in the top lane because the teleport just wasn't quite available for Evie. And they start the dragon, force the Malphite to teleport in, bring the Ryze to the fight, and by the time Thaldrin turns up, the Japanese team have already got the dragon and have already got a pick. So Turkish team are just kind of caught behind the play there. And the Japanese team have slowed down TCL's attempt now at looking to stack up those dragons.
Yeah, and without the Black Shield as well, it does take away a lot of the tools to keep the carries safe on the side of Turkey. But LGL need to find a way to grab these turrets at the same time. The bottom outer's still there, mid outer's still there as well. There's a lot of standing gold hanging around this map. Rainbrain getting some help here from Evie, but he's losing his red buff, which is problematic. They do have a ward. They just know that they can't contest.
Yep, they have to concede this one.
Oh no, Seros making his way around. And he's with Mweki, who's just back. They will be able to grab the red buff, so nice play by the LGL, but I have a feeling that... Oh my goodness! Did that get
it did.
stolen
Crystal
by
picked
Crystal?
it up.
Was that?
I think it was a Prey Seeker by the looks of it.
I think it was.
But one thing that was happening, meanwhile, the red skirmish, top lane, Lucian was pushing up to the turret and it forced LJL to bring people top to deal with it. He didn't get the tower, only got a minor amount of damage, but again, it's just poking at different areas of the map to drag the Japanese team around the map. And if you can do that, it doesn't allow them to create picks. The LJL team needs to somewhat be grouped to actually catch out people and make sure they have the numbers advantage, and they haven't been able to do it all that much thus far. Have had a couple of picks that have worked out quite well.
I just want to see whether we'll get the Hemo Plague onto multiple members with, you know, the Ricochet, with Seros in there able to get some work done, or even Rainbrain kicking someone through the entire team, something like that for some massive damage. It's always what you want to see when there's a Vladimir on the team, but it hasn't quite happened just yet. It's all about Turkey just denying that, making sure that their engage is going to be on top of it, because as soon as you have Unstoppable Force and Chaos Storm, I mean, someone's going to die. Yes, they just are. That's just too much damage.
That is a lot of damage. There is, however, a fair amount of magic resist when you look at it, or at least you know, the ability to survive. There is an Abyssal Scepter on EVI. He's going to vamp tank his way through a fight as well. Holy Phoenix is pushed up, but the team is kind of split off from him right now, as the Japanese are kind of creating a bit of a fracture between the team. Holy Phoenix is playing this very trickily, but is able to kind of group up with his team once again. Take a look at mid lane. Naru is not with the team. Neither is Mweki, though, who gets a turret. How will the numbers advantage work out here? In goes Rainbrain.
Yeah, here's the engage. Dark Passage is there if Rainbrain needs it. He's landed the Q as well. He's gone in. Death Sense lands onto Crystal. They don't have their AD carry, but Seros has a lot of sustained damage. That Unstoppable Force was huge onto 3 members as Rainbrain's trying to survive. In comes Naru, and that means everyone's going to die. Dara, that's a Chaos Storm right to the face. Heal's going to be used. Naru taking up the turret. Evie's going to die. Triple kill for Naru. You have to say that was relatively telegraphed, and Mweki, he's going to take down the turret. but then going to apologize for his whole team.
It's going to get evened up here. I believe TCL can even look to push the inner tower. Inner tower's not very strong at this point in the game yet. Remember, all of the towers have been pretty much shredded when it comes to the armor, so you can just push up to a tower and kind of push it over as soon as you've got more than about 2 people there and nobody to defend it. So the Turkish team will come up huge from that engage. They managed to grab 4 kills and 2 towers from that. The only thing they traded really was that inner tower down in the bottom lane from Mweki. So honestly, that is a big swing, even further in momentum for the Turkish team.
Yeah, about 5,000 gold, or close to, here for Turkey. We'll see whether they can continue this one snowballing, or whether the LGL can utilize, a bit of late game scaling. I mean, I've got my eye on you, Seros. Of course, died very early on in that last fight, which had a lot to do with why they fell down. But once he has those 2 core items, of course, the Seraph's Embrace and the Rod of Ages completed, has some tanky stats from that point. See whether the LGL team can do anything about this, because it's preseason patch, it's known to snowball. Wacky now standing very far forward. Nari with the speed boost. Dark Passage going to be taken. It's tense times, Stress.
It is. It is a tense moment. And looking at itemization right now, as 80 carries, we've got a rapid fire cannon onto Lucian. We've seen a couple of different Lucian builds, actually.
Yeah, we have.
Seen a bunch of the Essence Reaver into kind of Trinity Force, seen Essence Reaver into Infinity Edge, now Essence Reaver into rapid fire cannon. A lot of different varying options that you can see here, obviously based on this time mobility and those empowered auto attacks out of the rapid fire cannon. So honestly though, right now it's not about Holy Phoenix in these fights. It has been so much in that last fight about Naru, who
Naru's
just showed up and blew the fight wide open. On the other side, Malphite hasn't had to really itemize armor, so Mweki should be okay. Seros is going to take a lot of damage here.
That culling is so huge. Seros trying to do some work, but he is going to be able to pick it up. Crystal now trying to escape Dumbledore. There's the flash kick. Crystal's going to die. The shutdown comes in. Rainbrain, you could feel him getting his revenge on the jungler that time around. Could be a bit of a turnaround. 8 seconds on the Dragon. That will be the second for the LJL team.
I'm going to be honest, this is very similar to the yesterday's games from Holy Phoenix, where, what he's doing is inherently losing the game, but I'm just seeing him get caught out a lot of times. And it's one of the things we pulled the Turkish team out for yesterday, is they've got so much experience, but just time and time again, every single game we're seeing them get caught out by trying to make plays like that. And it just turns the game a little bit back into the favor of their opponents. I mean, again, we're seeing very messy plays the entire week when it comes to looking to create a play or crossing through an unwarded area that you don't tend to see so much at the top level, where it's like, is this a safe option? Yes or no? If it's no, I'm probably not going to do it. Holy Phoenix takes the yes option quite a few times, and yes, it'll pay off sometimes. But in that situation, absolutely doesn't. They didn't have a real read on where the whole Japanese team was, and they get collapsed upon.
And there's a little bit of, I guess, misjudging your opponents as well. By the looks of things, it's a little bit similar to Turkey being slightly impatient. And Seros was easily able to turn that one around, but it looked a little bit like Holy Phoenix was like, well, I should kill him and we should win the game. But it's just not happening just yet. Although they are still definitely ahead.
I like the banner of command right now. Make it as difficult for the LJL team to actually clear waves as it is with double AP. They've got the locket, they've got the banner of command as well, so why not stack a bunch of magic resist? Make sure that you can survive that little bit longer. Do have a lot of focus on these towers though right now, and that is going to be a good boon for the Turkish team because they brought the Japanese team together.
There's the engage. The Chaos Storm's down as well. No one dead just yet, but Dara's in a lot of trouble. Dumbledore, he's going to get destroyed by that Hemo play because Evi's going to try and make his way back. Not going to do it. Naru picks up that kill. It's a shutdown now onto Mweki as well. As Turkey just with fantastic focus. Rainbrain just a bit squishy.
It's just the strength of Malphite that we've seen prioritized with towers just not sticking around for so long. As soon as you get a diving composition that can actually get that opportunity, Thaldrin sees the multi-person knockup and just dives instantly. They know they can take them out before the tower can really do too much in response to them. And the LJL team get caught sleeping and couldn't really react in time. All they got was Dumble Doge from that fight.
Yeah, and Eddie was doing the best that he could, that Hemoplague down in that fight, but there just wasn't any coordination. Moeki a little bit short range to be able to get in there, because as soon as that Unstoppable Force comes down and you don't spell shield it, there's going to be a Chaos Storm right on top of you, and he just doesn't have the health bar to deal with it.
And now we've got to look at options here for the LJL team, or at least have a look at the options that they've had for the last few minutes. They don't have really any primary engage outside of Lee Sin going for the Dragon's Rage kick. They don't really have the opportunity to use their crowd control in situations where they're defending their base. It would take a massive overstep from the Turkish team. From there, the only hope that they've got is they can take a 5v5 fight, but right now they just don't have the itemization behind that. Only really Rise is particularly strong right now. Sivir does have 2 items completed, but right now it's so difficult to actually get that Sivir damage out, because as she steps forward to land the damage, that's when Malphite comes in, and if the spell shield isn't on point, Sivir gets taken out, the fight is pretty much done.
Yeah. Well, Crystal going to try and steal away this blue buff. The rest of LJL are moving forward, but they're now down 8,000 gold, or close to. They're just desperately trying to hang on to their turrets. Mid lane is going to start pushing in with those super creeps, and we'll see what Turkey decide to do. Whether they go for a Baron, whether they just continue trying to siege, because it seems to me, you got a Malphite, you may as well just jump underneath the turret.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that right now. There's a couple of options. They can either go for a turret. Well, what they'll do is they'll wait for mid lane to push in, look to go through the bottom lane. That's what the Turkish team are doing. They're also establishing control. It's a long way out on Dragon when it comes to the vision, so they're not looking for it quite yet, but you need to reduce the wards to deny the Japanese team the ability to enter their own jungle, because as soon as they can get even a dark corner in the jungle, that's when they can look to utilize their crowd control. But Turkey is sticking together as a team, and it's not really an option right now. Yes, Malphite's top lane has teleport available, so if this does kick off, he will teleport straight into this fight. Look at the health bars dropping already. The Japanese team just can't get on top of the Turkish team to actually do any of their damage.
Yeah, and they wanted to as well. Hemoplague goes down, the kick is available, but Rainbrain just gets destroyed. Crystal picks up that one. Hemoplague now is over, and Ebby, he's so dead. Unstoppable Force on top of everyone. Chaos Storm once again to follow. Saros is going to melt. Everyone from Japan is just getting torn to shreds. Holy Phoenix, he wants more. Flashes forward. Boomerang's going to be there. Moeki manages to get the shutdown. It is going to die for it. It's the ace in the end, and they might be able to finish.
Yeah, they're going to be able to finish this even with Holy Phoenix diving ham into the base. They're going to have another wave of supers coming in. Turkish team looking very comfortable in this game. The Japanese team kind of put themselves in an awkward situation, though. And Turkey are the ones that come out with a win.
Yeah, and at the end of this game as well, whoever was going to win was going to come out ahead today. Looks to be the Turkish squad, and looked like Japan, especially in the last game, were looking fantastic. 2-1 was the scoreline that they were heading in with, but just weren't able to get it and weren't able to transition what was a decent early game into, or at least a decent idea with the scaling comp into the late game. It just didn't work, it just didn't come online.
I mean, Moeki got those kills very early on. They put the lane pressure down onto the Lucian, but it was just great engages from Thaldrin, the follow-up from Naru in that top lane. I mean, neither Thaldrin nor Naru died in that game at all. Against a pick composition, it shows you how carefully Turkey played that map, and then the scaling component of the LGL team just wasn't getting there fast enough. They just weren't hitting their items, weren't able to farm enough to stay in this game, and the rest of the team just kind of crumbled around it.
Yeah, and I just want to compare, like, Naru for the Turkish squad is like their star player. It's very similar to Kami from Brazil, and this is an example of the mid laner stepping up.
Yeah.
6-0-7 was that scoreline in the end. 13 out of 17 as far as that kill participation is concerned. That is pretty ludicrous when you're a Victor. You want to be farming out the lane early on. You don't necessarily want to be rotating around, but Naru did a fantastic job, and you saw as soon as he got into any team fight, it was Turkey's.
Sorry, I'm just going back to that Turkey joke that you made earlier.
Yeah,
but,
no, I got reminded of it as well, and I apologize.
Naru with 2 games of Victor today, looking very strong. I mean, do you ban that out? I mean, Victor's a blind pickable mid laner, so maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the way forward against the Turkish team.
Could be an opportunity here, but we do have Thaldren standing alongside for an interview.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Thaldren after that game. And first up, Thaldren, that was a crazy game, but it was 27 minutes, one of the shorter ones we've had so far in the tournament. What were the factors that were able to close out the game so fast for you guys?
I think we executed our comp very well because we had enough CC to burst them out, and our Victor was really fat, so we just used it and closed out the game.
That's actually interesting you talk about the composition, because I spoke earlier to Holy Phoenix, and he was talking about how strong Victor and Malphite is now. Again, we saw you run basically the same composition. What's so strong about it, and specifically from the top lane perspective as the Malphite?
As a Malphite, you don't need to do anything but ulting, so I just had to knock up 4 or 3 people, and it was enough because Victor's damage is really good, so I just had to do my job. So nothing really interesting about playing Malphite. So
just a cog in the machine. Well, is it specifically about the synergy between Malphite and Victor, or are they just straight up just super strong champions?
I believe they're just straight up super strong champions, so that's it.
Not too much more to add on that one. Well, after that win, you are now first place, and only one team can actually tie with you. So coming into this tournament, were you actually expecting to be first place by the end of day 2?
I didn't really expect that because we didn't have time to practice, so we didn't know how our synergy was good or great or bad. So I didn't really expect that we would just place second. I mean, first in the second day, but it feels great.
It feels great. And just one more here, Thaldren. How are you feeling about the team? Because I know you guys, a lot of you have played on similar teams before. Was it just slipping on a new shoe, or was it a little difficult to kind of adapt to new players?
It was difficult because it's been a long time since we played last, so we had to build our synergy again. So it was these games that we played and built our synergy. So yeah.
Oh, well, it's looking very good so far. Thank you very much for the interview, Thaldren. We're going to send it over to the analyst desk for a breakdown of the game.